Would you play a little bit more of your flute? Another favorite song, maybe?
Yes, this is one that is one of our favorite songs here in the Northeast. It's called Tutuaz. It's a song for the children. And Tutuaz literally means the little babies, but we also call the song Little Pines because we say just as the little pine trees that grow beneath the big trees are sheltered by the branches of the big trees, so too we are protected by our elders as we're growing. And I often play this song with my son Jesse. We have two flutes tuned to the same note and actually the same C. And we kind of go back and forth with it. So I'll just play this for you. Now, people dance to this, so you can actually go. And traditionally, it would be the children who would sing the song, Nom Jum Tak Musi Tutuaj, which means dance around, little pines dance in a circle. And if they sang faster, it was their mothers who had to dance to the song. Danced faster as their children sang louder. So it's really a lovely song. It's sung by all of our different Wabanaki nations, the 5 different tribal nations that make up our community of similar speakers. Way up in the far northeast, we have the Mi'kmaq or Micmac, the Maliseet, then the Passamaquoddy, then the Penobscot, crossing Maine, and then into New Hampshire and New England, we do have the Western Abenaki, which is my own particular tribal nation. I'm actually a citizen of the Nulhegan Band of the Western Abenaki Nation.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that and sharing it so joyfully, Joe. Your happiness really comes through even across the screen.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, definitely. What a pleasure.
Before we leave, Joe, so you have such a range of work, such an incredible variety of books for different ages, different topics. If you had to just recommend 3 to get readers started.
Okay, well, I've only written and published about 180, so that's easy to just pick 3. But I know that one that's my first picture book, done with my dear friend Jonathan London, is called 13 Moons on a Turtle's Back. And each of the poems is for a different month or moon of the year and crosses the North American continent. So that's a good place to begin. It's poetry, and it can be accessible for kids, I think, a good place to start. And continuing with poetry for the older kids, middle grade and young adult, I have a new book coming out very soon from Raycraft, which is a new publisher. It's called Voices of the People. Voices of the People. And it consists of more than 30 poems. Each one is about a different historical figure. And it starts with the peacemaker over 1,000 years ago. It goes all the way up to Wilma Mankiller. And each of the poems is about their life. And it's in a beautifully produced book, which has a color painting facing each poem by a different Native artist.
Oh, wow.
So it's a spectacular book. I've only seen it in galleys. It'll be actually available within the next month.
Oh, wonderful.
And I think the third book I'd recommend, which is kind of for middle grade, young adult, on up to adults, a lot of adults like this book, is my novel about the Navajo in World War II. Used their own language to create an unbreakable code to send messages. It's called Code Talker. And it was just recently chosen by Time magazine, crazily enough, as one of the 100 best books of all time for young adult readers. And it is a book that I really credit to the code talkers themselves, because I wrote it working with code talkers. It was my honor to know a lot of these men almost all of whom have passed on now.
Mhm.
They reviewed everything I wrote. I worked with Navajo linguists to make sure any of my use of the language was correct. I worked with a Navajo historian who made sure I had all the facts correct. So even though it is a novel, it is historically extremely accurate.
Mm.
Although I've created a sort of composite narrator, everybody else in the story and every event that takes place, except for one or two of his friends, is absolutely authentically there in history, and you can find it if you want to check it out. So that book is very close to my heart and one I love to recommend.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Joe.
Olioni, which means that I return good to you. That's the way we say thank you.
Mm.
Please say it again.
Uli uni.
Uli
Uli-uni.
W-L-I-W-I-N-I. Uli uni. And it
Uli-uni.
means I return good to you. And that's a good way to say thank you.